The message sat unread for almost 12 hours. The tiny gray checkmark refused to change, and every minute felt heavier than the last. Kael had convinced himself that silence always meant rejection, that no reply was the loudest answer anyone could give. But what he couldn't see was that sometimes silence isn't the end of a story. Sometimes it's the beginning of a question. A question that quietly asks whether your confidence is real, whether your patience can survive uncertainty, and whether your feelings are built on genuine respect instead of desperate pursuit. What Kael believed was simple ignoring would soon become the lesson that changed not only the way he understood women, but the way he understood himself forever. Before we continue, if you believe kindness, patience, and second chances can change lives, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who needs to hear this message, and subscribe to Kindness Corner for more emotional stories that touch the heart. Kael had always believed love was something that had to be chased. Every relationship he had ever experienced followed the same painful pattern. He would send another message, make another call, plan another surprise, and convince himself that trying harder would eventually earn someone's affection. At first, people appreciated the attention, but slowly the excitement disappeared. The harder he chased, the farther they seemed to drift away. He mistook persistence for devotion and anxiety for love. Then one bright spring morning, while volunteering at a neighborhood community garden, he met Seraphine. She was cheerful without demanding attention, thoughtful without trying to impress anyone, and carried herself with a calm confidence that made everyone around her feel comfortable. She laughed easily while planting flowers beside elderly volunteers and spent extra time helping children learn how to grow vegetables. She never rushed conversations, yet somehow every word she spoke felt meaningful. Over the next several weeks, they naturally grew closer. They exchanged stories while watering rows of blooming flowers under the warm afternoon sun. They discovered a shared love for books, peaceful walks, and quiet moments away from crowded places. For the first time in years, Kael felt something different. He wasn't trying to perform. He simply enjoyed being around her. One evening, after another wonderful day at the garden, Kael sent her a heartfelt message thanking her for making ordinary days feel extraordinary. Hours passed with no response. Then a full day. Then another. His heart began filling with familiar fears. Every painful memory returned. His mind created stories that weren't real. Maybe she had lost interest. Maybe she had met someone better. Maybe everything he imagined between them had existed only in his own hopes. The old version of Kael would have flooded her phone with messages, searching desperately for reassurance. His fingers hovered over the keyboard several times. But something inside him stopped. He remembered advice an older volunteer had quietly shared only days earlier. Real confidence isn't proven by how quickly someone replies to you. It's revealed by how peacefully you can continue living while waiting. So instead of chasing, Kael chose something unfamiliar. He continued living his life. The next few days were unexpectedly beautiful. He spent mornings helping his younger cousin prepare for college entrance exams. He returned to the community garden, smiling warmly at everyone without secretly hoping Seraphine would appear. He visited his grandmother, repaired the broken fence surrounding her small backyard, and even began sketching landscapes again, a hobby he had abandoned years before. Something remarkable happened during those quiet days. The emptiness he expected never arrived. Instead, he felt lighter. His happiness no longer depended on a notification. His confidence slowly shifted from needing someone's attention to appreciating his own growth. Then, on a clear afternoon filled with soft sunshine, his phone finally vibrated. Seraphine apologized for disappearing. Her aunt had unexpectedly become ill, and she had spent several exhausting days helping her family. She admitted something else as well. She had noticed that in previous conversations, Kael often seemed anxious whenever replies were delayed. She wondered whether his feelings were based on genuine connection or simply fear of losing someone. When she returned and saw that he hadn't pressured her, guilt her, or demanded explanations, she saw a different side of him. She saw someone emotionally steady. Kael wasn't angry. He wasn't relieved because she had finally answered. He was grateful for what the silence had taught him. From that moment, their relationship grew stronger because it rested on something much deeper than constant attention. They learned to give each other space without questioning affection. They celebrated each other's independence instead of fearing it. Their connection wasn't measured by endless texting but by trust, consistency, and genuine care. Months later, the same community garden where they first met was filled with colorful flowers blooming beneath the warm summer sky. Families laughed together, children ran between the garden paths, and elderly volunteers smiled proudly at everything they had built together. Kael realized the greatest lesson had never been about understanding women alone. It was about understanding himself. Sometimes what feels like being ignored is simply life asking whether you can remain calm, respectful, and secure when certainty disappears. Sometimes the greatest attraction isn't found in chasing harder but in becoming someone who values both love and self-respect equally. If this story touched your heart or reminded you of someone special, please like this video, leave your thoughts in the comments, share it with your friends and family, and subscribe to Kindness Corner so we can continue sharing stories that inspire hope, emotional strength, and kindness. Special request: before this story ends, comment below with the words, "I choose patience over fear." Your message may encourage someone else who is struggling with uncertainty today. As the sun slowly settled over the peaceful garden, Kael looked around at the flowers that had grown through days of rain, wind, and quiet waiting. They never forced themselves to bloom before the right season arrived. Neither should the human heart. Some silences are not punishments. Some are quiet opportunities to grow into the kind of person who no longer fears waiting, because they have finally learned that genuine love never asks you to lose yourself while searching for someone else.